it's working. Mercury retrograde shadow has been in effect for a while. So, just a Promethean perspective, potentially. Prometheus, knowledge bearer. So holding the light, the fire, burns, you can't look, it's too bright. It takes time to adjust, just like the dark. And it's the awareness of the self, and then your expression, your offering to your life is the relation to these gods, perhaps, elements, elemental conduit for rationalization for the mind, body, the form. But I digress. What was I talking about now? Let's get into the Leo new moon. First thing I notice, and Leo new moon, August 4th, and I have it at 6:11 a.m. Central Standard Time in the U.S. Adjust for your location if you want more specific energetic details about this new moon. Alright, so two things I notice right away. The new moon is at 12 degrees 33 minutes, and then it changes to 34 minutes in perfect alignment. So for a while it is in unison with the change, which is the creative, the purity of creation, a happening. It's also conjunct fortune, or Fortuna. So this is a bestowing of awareness of your value. The purity of your fire can burn through a lot of shadow in these times. And you might have to do that in order so you do not become what the world feeds back. Because these are highly powerful, creatively charged, expressive times, and the worlds. Alright, so 12 degrees of Leo, that's the north node of Neptune. If you study evolutionary astrology, you can get more details on that if you're interested, but it's more of an energetic resonance towards destiny, towards change. And the destiny aspect infers choice, so realization. You never have choice unless you have realization. And there is no life in any realization without creation. So being in your destiny, in your alignment, falling into your own fire so that you may burn pure and strong. And if you do that in this time, if you invest in the purity of your fire, knowing that all your shadow, all your ignorance, all the whatevers, part of your process, they're just statics in your progression. You are, Leo is the spiritual rising of an unconscious flow that we're learning through life, and it charges these elements in the waters. that are catching the light. And so your unconscious emotional flows feed this natural creative expression, and you know it's not the natural creative when you're holding on to the shadows of distinction which others have told you or expected of you, or shown you to be good. And in life you realize what you had charged up, held an icon as that icon ideal that you were working towards was limiting you. And so this is where the work of that spirit is in breaking the entrainment of the traditional expectation, knowing that the delusions and the illusions which Neptune gives to all mutable crass children and all of us by extension is this fading and sharpening of the lens of our awareness, and we feel it through the experiences of life. So it's not something you can't grasp in real time. And so our ignorance in the information of our feeling through experience and the entrainment of expectations and the lineage of our ancestors, abuse tends to resonate into the future and from the past, and we slowly shake ourselves out of that by becoming more aware of who we are, and that we are not the experience but the product of our own realization, and that becomes the creation of yourself and your expression. So this investment in your fire, your purity, is good right now, not only for you but for everyone. It shows those in your relation your new distinction, your more authentic expression. And you can feel into that authenticity. Feel into Vesta here. Vestal fire, the purity of the fire. The fires they use in the highest courts of the cosmic potential. Okay, the purity of Aries is known in Vesta. This is why the work of Aries is often done in bringing the chaos into a coordinated flow. This is why militaries tend to become very systematic for optimal expression. So this is the Virgo thing, formulating your chaos through following and honoring your passion. And that will help tap into this Jupiter energy. Vesta's in the Jupiterian section of Leo as well. And there's some fixed stars here, asteroids. If you're interested in Vesta, do some research at this time of what's in the sky here. And follow the mythologies, whatever your culture or whatever's speaking to you, and see if you can feel into that. It might inform you of what you could put your fire into right now in these days. Alright, so another big thing I notice here is Venus 29 degrees, 13 minutes of Leo in the Martian degrees. And this is the Ptolemaic breakdown on the outside, in case you're wondering. So the anaretic degree, the full plenum potential of the expression of Leo, all shadow, all light, the square of Saturn through the fixed cross, in spirit, it can be high tension. This is a resonance energy. It's like an 11. Knowing who you are, because there is an energetic pull-push dynamic trying to inform you. So finding how to put that tension to form optimally without it controlling or taking you on a ride. Now what's interesting is Venus is in a yod, the finger of God, on this new moon. Venus, 29 degrees, opening quincunx with Pluto. And Pluto's out of sign. I mean, it's in the yod, but it's not what you would typically look at. You might look at 29 Capricorn for this yod. But there's like a 2-degree range. And given the intensity of this new moon and Neptune in that out of sign sextile with Pluto, the outer planets, and they're all the outer planets here are touching Venus during this new moon. So in conjunction, junction is a realization of the creative flow of all life is change. It doesn't look pretty sometimes. We sacrifice the purity of our self, our own expressions, of our gifts, of our potentials for what we feel, what we are entrained, what we believe to be a greater cause, a greater need. And then as time progresses, as we mature, we realize that at times that was right and at times that was wrong. Sometimes it was a process of sacrifice, seemingly in vain, in real time, because you didn't know the value that you actually held. You never had a place to express it in the world where it would allow you to be who you are. And there are many reasons for that. Could be that other people were threatened. It could have been denied through tradition or expectation. Maybe others doubted. Maybe it was too bright for them to handle. And that echo response, that energetic exchange, puts you in a frame of mind to allow the relational dynamics to flow. So you dim the fire of the self and your potential in the process, and then you realize that you've casted a small persona which might be brilliant and powerful, but it keeps you locked into a narrative which requires the gravity of all these other people or things or situations which are draining and holding you into a static that you have to break through. And the way to do it is to honor your purity and not the expectation of another's projection, of their delusion, their illusion. So Neptune here at 29 Pisces, and the transformative work of the result of this Venus yod here. So this sextile between Neptune and Pluto, you know, the memory of the spiritual woundings, the denials of the sovereign, of the individual, of the purity of the new expression, so that the old may gestate and mature and grow into something else. The legacy of the kingdom, of the power, of the delusion. Collectively, we have denied the potential so that we could establish industry and fall into this more calm stasis of existence, which caused us to become more elemental in mind And what we find out is the mind is the conductor of spirit, so that the passion can find form through expression. But until it is realized in that way, it is used as a cutting device to create distinctions and systematic hierarchies where value and legacy can be preserved and exchanged and brought into new expressions. So we can honor the constant change and the purity of what has got us to where we are, but we should not and will not sacrifice the self for that. So is your God truly your God, or is your God your projection? And only the individual can answer, and usually it is in the denials. The opening square to Leo here is Taurus. That's where Uranus is. Prometheus, or the Promethean mythological archetype through expression oftentimes. But it's the memory, the eternal memory, the first men. It holds the echoes which are caught in the mind. It brings Mercury to form. It brings Mercury, when they get stuck in the mundane, it crashes into this liminal haze and starts to channel new expression for change. And Uranus is working through this Pluto here, remembering. So ancestral gifts are rising here. It's the memory, and the memory carries the shadow and the light, and people don't have the language for what that is, and they're learning how to compassionate themselves. So it's going to turn into the ugliness of the world. And within you, you might have these energetic memories rising up that you have to honor, essentially. Because if you deny them, they continue. And so how do you put that to use best for you? How do you honor that you are not the experience, but the energy flows through you, it informs you, it's who you are, your spirit is being cultivated. And it's the meaning which is the fruit from the tree of that. And the meaning gives you the belief, but you create the meaning. And you let the world inform you as you go, and it's a strange thing. All right, we also have Chiron here trining Venus and Vesta. So it's a healing energy when you follow the passion. The sovereign expression of your individual life, your spirit coming into form, becoming many different things. Living, rising, dying, many times in life. This is Aries natural energy. The spark flickers, it's always on and off. The winds are pushing on it. Something's trying to use it before it's become form, because the purity is there, right there now. So you held that deep within you, and you can bring that out now. Figure out what you burn for, and that's what you can burn for. And that activates the North Node here at 8 degrees of Aries in the Venusian sector of Aries, trining this new moon. So it is in following your passion of purity. What makes you feel the best? How could you bring that into your existence? That's a great foundation for anything that happens in this world, whether good or bad. You want to be in a Four of Wands energy, where you are able to adapt because you have the required elements of your spirit to enjoy the felt presence of experience. All right, Black Moon Lilith coming into balsamic phase conjunction with the South Node at 8 degrees of Libra in that Venusian sector as well. And Venus will be coming into a transformative quincunx with the North Node here in a week or 4 or 5 days. So this isn't informing. If you follow your passion, if you allow that to guide you, if you figure out what that could be by burning what you are not and what you've sacrificed, realizing you can burn that for something that gets you to where you want to go, what you want to be, how you want to be, then you might realize your values shifted. Your experiences are communicating with you real time in life. And as you become, as you realize that, you'll be coming into a new phase conjunction with this Mercury retrograde. So it will be an energetic of a past memory maybe you never had, maybe a feeling you never had, but it's so familiar. Or maybe someone you knew, something you knew and you forgot. And Venus will be trining Ceres at that time. So the harvest of the mother, the nurturing spirit of the Mother Earth, the maternal wisdom being realized and embodied here with Hygeia. So getting into nature, getting into form, put the form of your spirit into function, do what makes you feel good and is good for you, and you will benefit. All right, Mercury will be going retrograde here into Leo, and then back into Virgo. And while it's going back in Virgo, you might be able to get organized in some of what you had not been able to focus on. You might be able to focus here. You might be able to get an order to the madness, to the chaos. You might catch something you missed. The world will be doing all sorts of weird, crazy stuff. There's a lot of architecture being redone here behind the scenes as we're watching the bread. As we have our bread and wine, we're watching the circus unfold, the gladiatorial arena in our streets. There's a lot of architecture being done. It's a model. It's been done many times. It's happening again. So try not to get caught up in that too much. Be pure in your expression. And if something is not in alignment with what that is, or it's going to feed upon what you are, you should ask yourself if this is right. Feel into it. Don't make impulse decisions. That is how you could harness the square here between Vesta and Pallas Athena, and that trine with Saturn and Pallas Athena. A disillusionment into truth through feeling your conviction. All right, well, I guess that's all I wanted to say. So thanks for watching, listening, and being.